Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to Coding Knowledge. In this interview session, we discuss SQL Server interview questions asked in MNC like Wipro, Accenture, Capgemini, Cognizant, and we have already discussed part 1 and whatever the interview questions asked in that is Infosys, TCS, and that is the SQL Server related interview questions. Here we discuss about part 2 and there is a few important questions we discuss here. So let's begin. So in this session we have collected few important and most important questions which are asked by the interviewers to the 2 to 4 years of experience. So these are very important questions and basic and important questions for freshers as well as experienced. So there are 10 important SQL Server interview questions based on group by clause, having clause, where clause, and aggregate functions. So first one we need to discuss, that is what is group by clause. So group by clause is used to group a selected set of rows into a set of summary rows by the values of one or more columns. It is used with one or more aggregate functions. So aggregate functions in group by clause, there are 5 mostly used aggregate functions. One is count. It counts the total number of rows, and in sum it returns sum of column values. Average, that is AVG, it returns average of column values. Mean, it returns the minimum column value, and max, it returns the maximum column value. So that's all about what is group by clause, and you should answer these questions what we discussed earlier. Write query total salary by city name and gender. So flip to SQL Server. We already have written for this, that is write query for total salary by city name and gender. For this query is perfect one. Select city, sum of salary as total EM salary as alias, gender from the table name tbl_employee, group by city and gender. It returns the total salary by city and gender. If you are fresher to group by clause, having and where clause, please visit my previous video session, which link you can find in my description section. Okay, now flip to my presentation, and this one. Next question is difference between having and where clause. That's the third interview questions. So difference between where and having clause. Where clause can be used with select, insert, and update statement. Having clause can only be used with the select statement. Where filters rows. Where clause filter rows before aggregation, that is grouping. Having clause filters groups after the aggregation. Aggregate functions cannot be used in where clause unless it is in a subquery contained in a having clause. Aggregate function can be used in having clause, but there is a few, and you cannot use aggregate function in the where clause unless it is in subquery. Also subquery contained in a having clause. Okay, now our fourth interview question was write query for filter group by combine where and having clause. Yes, it is possible to filter group by combine where and having clause. So let's flip to SQL Server. So here write query for filter groups by combine where and having clause, and this is the query. Select city, sum of salary as total salary is the part alias from table name tbl_employee, where clause gender equal to male, group by city, having city equal to their daily. So here we have, this will return the total salary by city by filtering record using two conditions, that gender should be male and city should be daily. So in this way we can add where and having clause in a single select statement. This is possible. So our fifth interview question was write query for sum and average aggregate function. That is the fifth one. So flip to SQL Server. So here you will check. I just remove the previous one for better understanding for remaining part, better view of there. Okay, now here write query for sum and average aggregate function. For sum, how to use: select sum of salary from table employee that returns total salary to given to the organization, and select AVG of salary from table employee, that is 4825. It is nothing but total salary by number of rows. So average is calculating like this, that is the total salary, and by divided by total number of rows. It is returns average salary from the table employee. Okay, now our go to presentation. Our sixth point is write query for multiple aggregate function. So flip to SQL Server. So write query for multiple aggregate function is like this, that is select gender, city, sum of salary, one aggregate function as alias total salary, count of ID, another aggregate function as total employee, that is alias, and here you'll see the from table name and by city, gender and city order by we need city in ascending order. So if you execute this, you'll get the result here. That is, you will see here that is total salary with total employees by gender and city in the ascending order. So in this way we can implement multiple aggregate function in a single select statement. So flip to presentation. So seventh one is which condition should be satisfied to use the group by clause. So flip to SQL Server. So which condition should be satisfied to use group by clause is the column should be contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. In this condition, group by satisfy. Otherwise you cannot use the group by with a, if you use this without group by, then it will be error. If this condition was not satisfied, then you will get a warning to the user. So next point is, that is point number. So which condition should be satisfied to use group by clause is done, and point number, question number 8 was write query for grouping by multiple columns. So flip to SQL Server. So write query for grouping multiple columns. How it is possible? This is the query here. Select city, sum of salary as total employee salary, gender from table employee, city and gender. So I have used here two columns, that is city and gender, that is multiple columns here we have used, and this returns total salary by city and gender. This is the output of this query. Okay, now it is done, and next point is our question number 9 is we already have done write query for grouping by multiple columns, and question number 9 was write query to get max and minimum salary. So flip to SQL Server. So write query for maximum and minimum salary. We used max aggregate function that returns the maximum salary from the employee, that is 9,800, and the minimum salary is 1,800 of that salary given to the employee. So in this way we can get the maximum and minimum salary using max and min aggregate function in a using select statement. So next question number 10 is and it is the final one. So we already have know that I write the query to get max and minimum salary, and question number 10 and final important question, in which case we can use aggregate function in where clause. So go to SQL Server. So in which case we can use aggregate function in where clause. Aggregate function cannot be used in where clause unless it is in a subquery contained in having clause, but aggregate function can be used using having clause. So we already have discussed. If you want the more details about group by clause, having clause and where clause, visit my previous video session, and that link you can find in description section. Okay, now we already have done our interview questions with answers with practically, and what are the queries are required, and definitions. Query we already have discussed for a very important questions that these are asked in Wipro and Accenture in 2020, and the month was October. So recently we have collected these 10 important questions here, and every weekend I will share with the interview questions and job related informations, and you will subscribe my channel to get the all details. For every weekend you can get, we will discuss about the interview questions. Okay, now we already have know what is group by clause and aggregate function in group by clause, and difference between where and having clause. And this is my YouTube channel, Coding Knowledge. Subscribe, share and like it, and you will get the up-to-date knowledge on .NET Core, Blazor, Angular, SQL Server, and Azure Data Factory, and Microsoft Business Intelligence, Power BI, and a reporting tool. Also you get the information on interview tips asking by many MNCs, that is in India, that is important, that is the biggest IT hub like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kerala, Pune, Mumbai, Delhi. Here if you go for interview and what are the questions they are asking, and I have collected these answers with questions from my colleagues, from my friends, from my seniors, so that I'll share with every weekend. So this one very important, very helpful for you for your upcoming interview sessions, and also I will share with for job related information with you for every weekend. So in this interview session we have discussed very important questions. We have discussed interview question and answer as below details. What is group by clause and write query for total salary by city name and gender, difference between having and where clause, write query for filter groups by combine where and having clause, write query for sum and average aggregate function, write query for multiple aggregate function, which condition should be satisfied to use group by clause, write query for grouping by multiple columns, write query to get max and minimum salary, and in which case we can use aggregate function in where clause. So we have discussed all these 10 important questions using theoretically as well as practically, and I have already have demo show you using few examples using select statement query. These are very helpful for you if they asking only for theoretically, or they asking about write the query. So that's all about, guys. Thank you for listening and have a great day.